welcome back to the 25th episode of the TundraCast, and today I'm joined by Ryan,
What's up, boys?
Nick,
Hello there.
Shay,
Yo, yo, yo.
and Dank, who is going to be trying out to be a co-host full-time for the TundraCast.
Howdy, Mr. Rossi.
And on today's episode, we'll be recapping the couple of games that have happened in the playoffs so far, with a few games on later tonight. Well, depending on the time that this gets uploaded. Tonight's games are Boston, Washington, St. Louis, Colorado, and Nashville, Carolina. So we'll start off with the first playoff game that was played, Bruins at Capitals. What's everybody's thoughts and opinions on this?
I think everyone was pretty pissed off when Tom Wilson got the first goal.
I know.
Yeah,
I was like,
leave it to like the universally hated guy in the league right now.
I was like,
first-
of course he's the one.
Of course
He
it was.
scores.
Good shot though. Unlucky
Yeah.
for McAvoy though.
Yeah, that-
It was just like it
Broken stick, yeah.
was just like in 2017 when Tanner Glass got the first goal of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Just pure jokes,
Oh, yeah.
pure memes.
it was like the one guy you don't want to be scoring the first goal, scores the first goal.
I will say this. No matter what we say about Tom Wilson and how much we hate the guy, he's built for playoff hockey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
The way he
absolutely.
plays, his skill set.
The guy is there like Brad Marchand in a way.
Oh yeah.
Washington's Brad Marchand. He's, as much as you want to hate him, if he can continue the pace and eventually increase and get to like a pace on Brad Marchand, like pace like 100 points, eventually everyone's gonna love him. Everyone's gonna want him. Because I hated Brad Marchand a lot, but like the fact that he scores 100 points is like, oh my god, I want this man on Montreal. I want this guy on my team.
Right.
It's
Yeah. I mean, no matter what, I'm still gonna hate Brad Marchand with every
Yeah.
living particle in my body. But my opinion might be a bit skewed, being a Leafs
Yeah.
fan.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at game one, you had Wilson scoring that first goal, and then DeBrusk answers right back, and then Vanacek gets hurt.
Yeah, that was really interesting. And Craig Anderson going in.
And
You know,
Pretty cool to
he did
see
pretty
though.
well, though.
I mean, he's a proven playoff performer. He did well. He got the win and he made some good saves. So
Yeah.
he kind of lost his balance a few times, but
Yeah.
probably just some.
he's an OHL legend.
Yeah, it's true. Probably just some rust, but he
Yeah,
did all
but,
right.
Yeah,
So
pretty-
we'll see who
and-
starts
and-
in game two.
and he is starting tonight. Actually, it's
Yeah.
confirmed.
Is he?
Yeah.
I didn't see
so-
that.
Oh man.
That'll be big.
yeah, and if anything happens to Anderson, I'm pretty sure.
Copley's in.
Yeah, Copley. Yeah, he'll be the
Copley.
backup.
Phoenix
Probably,
Copley.
yeah.
So
Anderson could be the starter for like all throughout too. I mean, you remember Halak back in 2010? How he, I think Price was the goalie for the Habs, but Halak carried the Habs. So it could be
Yeah.
the same situation here with Washington. So it'll be interesting to see.
maybe.
Yeah,
I don't-
Halak is a bit younger though. Halak was a bit younger, but
Right.
Anderson can't be overworked.
Oh, a lot younger.
Well, I mean,
Like, if you overwork that guy that age, he's gonna
it's,
eventually
yeah, but
collapse at
that's
some
not a
point.
decision that the Capitals can risk. They have to play him.
That exactly.
Yeah, so
I think the Vanacek injury really threw a wrench into Washington's plans because I
Yeah.
mean, you look at it ahead of time, and we said this on the last when we were doing our playoff projections. Like we weren't sold on Washington's goaltending
Yeah.
compared to Boston's,
Right.
right?
Right.
and it just gets worse
with
now.
Vanacek out, I mean, I love Anderson, and if he can carry Washington to a first round route of the Bruins, I mean, I'm all for it. I would love for that to happen. I think it would be a great story. But at that age, I don't know how many appearances we're going to see like that game one performance where he really did manage to hold down the fort enough for Washington to come out with the win.
Yeah, I mean, I think Washington's main game plan is going to be just try to keep, everybody going, the defense, the offense going, and hopefully Anderson keeps going until Samsonov or Vanacek gets back.
Do you guys think that Swayman will get a chance?
I could see it,
I could see it if the Bruins play real bad, like if they lose the next 2 games, go down 3-0. I could see it.
Because I really want to see him.
And Tuca
Like,
kind of goes
yeah.
through these stretches where he's just randomly just a bad goalie. I don't know
Yeah.
what the
Yeah.
deal is, but I don't know. Maybe if it happens, you can see Swayman in. I definitely think that could happen.
Here's the thing about Rass, though. He lets his temper take control of him.
That's true.
Yeah.
And that will affect like the Bruins
I mean-
long term in the series.
It can work to his advantage and it can work to his disadvantage, but we'll just see going forward what happens because Boston is going to have to definitely take advantage of Anderson, and Washington's going to have to get everybody going just to keep Anderson not having to face so many shots because you really don't want to wear him out.
Right.
It's going to be really interesting because I think that Washington defense and that Washington middle six is really going to have to come to play.
Yeah.
When you have a guy like Craig Anderson, who's a much older goalie, who really hasn't experienced that heavy of a workload this season, so it's like, like how much is he feeling it? Like,
Well, we lost him.
Oh,
So, I mean,
Um.
it went into overtime, which is I don't know, that was pretty cool that it went into overtime. Nick
A
Dowd
bit
got
of a fluky goal.
Nick Dowd got the overtime game winner. As everybody says, it doesn't matter how it goes in, it went in.
Yeah.
Counted. So that was the first game, went into overtime. It was a very good game, I would say.
I just think for the Capitals to win this game, they got to set the tone immediately. Because remember at the start of the game, like 30 seconds in, Ovi laid a big hit, and that really got the crowd into it. That's what the Capitals kind of need to do against a heavy.
His own teammate too. Just
Yeah, he just hit back.
into it, man.
Like playoff Ovi, he's in so much playoff Ovi mode that he's just like, I'm gonna hit everything that moves, and then Backstrom's like, wait, I'm on your team, and he's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I mean, he doesn't have that much longer in his career too. He's gonna want that second cup back.
It doesn't matter to me.
It could be, yeah, it's gonna be good to see him.
And this is honestly their best chance because with all the bad contracts that team has, like Yoshi has I love TJ Yoshi with all my heart, but
That's a steep deal.
Like his contract ends in 4 years, and he's gonna be 38, 39. Like there's a lot of bad contracts on this team, so I think this is their last kind of best chance to win the cup. And honestly, besides the Oilers, I'm really cheering for Ovi because I love the guy so much.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say they have a ton of like bad contracts right now in terms of like the level of production the players are giving, but in like even as soon as like 2-3 years from now, a lot of those contracts are gonna start, really looking like really, really bad. Like John Carlson's great, and he's getting paid like what, like $8-9 million a year, and he's a great defenseman. But in 2-3 years from now, when he's like 32, 33, is he going to be that same defenseman? Is he going to bring that same level of production?
Right.
Not necessarily. So I mean, I think Ovi really has this 1 to 2 year window to really go after it.
I'll say this too: Taylor Hall and the Bruins, after just watching one game, looks so much better in that Bruins jersey, doesn't he? Than he was in the Sabres.
He wants it.
He looks like a new player. Like this.
Yeah, he's such a good offensive play driver. Like he's just zipping around the ice. He's so good.
I will say this: you watch an OT goal again, you just see Hall gliding into the zone.
Yeah.
That's one thing. That's the one gripe I've always had with Hall. He's insane, no doubt. There's a reason why he went first overall, but especially in the playoffs, you have to play defense. In that goal, he did not back check at all.
Yeah,
good point.
I agree with
I will say that. I will say though that
Hall as a defensive guy.
Yeah, he's never really been that.
Never a defensive guy.
But I mean, I think that Boston fit on that second line is just so perfect with him because he just seems to have this instant chemistry with David Krejci. And I think even though Krejci is no longer that really elite 2-way forward who wins a ton of faceoffs, he's still very good in his defensive end. And what Boston really needed on that second line was a goal scorer and a play driver. And I think Taylor Hall has kind of just taken that role by the reins and is just pushing it. And if Boston wants to go anywhere this postseason, they're going to need that second line.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're gonna need Hall, but you're gonna need him. And as Shay said, he didn't back check on that overtime goal. You're gonna need him to play more defense.
And you know what? He's speedy. Like he can use his speed as an advantage to stop, maybe breakaways. Like he has the tools to be an actual pretty good, defensive player in the league. He just needs to put in the work. And I mean, he's 30 years old, right? At this point, you should be matured as a player. And it's, especially if you want to win the playoffs, you got to play that grindy game. So that's one gripe I have on Hall. But besides that, he had a pretty solid game.
For sure, yeah. Any other thoughts before we move on to the next game of the playoffs?
Boston needs their depth to show up just
Yeah.
right now. Just
I
right.
agree.
Oh, yeah.
If they need to win and want to go on a deep run, like they did against St. Louis, how did they get that far? Depth. They need Wagner. They had Wagner to show up. They need Lazard to like keep up the pace.
Yeah.
DeBrus definitely needs to show up because he's
bad.
He's been long on that training block, and he's need to show either his value or show he's a good enough guy to like keep. Because after this season, he might be out of there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
DeBrusca's a good player. Like he's got a lethal shot. And he got that goal, and that could be a confidence booster. So, and if it is, that's just another offensive weapon for Boston, and that could be dangerous too. So
Yeah,
we'll
for
see.
sure.
I'm still waiting on Corrali and Richie.
Yeah,
Right.
those two.
Richie, I know will show up, but Corrali needs to show up right now.
And Corrali's had a couple good games in the playoffs. I remember 4 years ago, it was against Ottawa, and he had a clutch goal in double overtime. He's shown he can play in the playoffs.
Don't remind me. Was
Okay.
Crowley the one who had that goal against the Leafs as well?
Oh yeah.
Alright.
Oh yeah. Speaking about that, how did you let Joachim Nordstrom score? By the way.
What?
Because in 2019, Joachim Nordstrom got like 2 goals against the Leafs.
Joachim Nordstrom. Joachim Nordstrom.
I mean, it's no secret that the last couple of Leafs teams that have made the playoffs have been very fundamentally. We didn't have a defense.
Okay.
All right.
Let's,
All right.
Depth.
let's just move on from Mr. Choppy. And let's let's recap Nick's favorite game so far, the Islanders Penguins game.
Oh yes, here we go.
Oh,
All right.
I'm gonna say something right now. Islanders looked a bit choppy.
They did.
In my opinion,
Yeah,
there were times where, like, especially in the Crosby tip-in goal, where Bailey and pretty sure it was Nelson were just nowhere or wasn't even blocking the puck when it went forward when it was being shot, and Mayfield especially doing that Kapanen goal just not blocking, and you need to get your body in those pucks you want to like win those games.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for for Sorokin's first playoff game in the NHL, he looked good. I would say.
He had a couple great stops. There's that one wraparound attempt, I think, in the third period, where he had his body in position. That was great to see. But yeah, for the most part, it didn't look like, a Barry Trotz Isles team. They were just like, that third goal by Kapanen, like it was a wicked shot. Don't get me wrong, but usually, the Islanders don't let those type of players get in pretty close. They usually like to type them out near the boards. So I expect a stricter defensive game tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you know what though? I'm not surprised that Islanders run. One, there's a reason why I had them win in 5 games. You just do not count out the Barry Trotz system. And, I was a huge critic on Palmieri on the season, and guess what? He got 2 goals. So
Yeah, definitely. And, I mean, I don't know what to say about Tristan Jarry, to be honest.
I don't think there is anything to say.
Oh boy.
He just...
he's bad.
I wouldn't call him bad. I would just call him unprepared for playoff hockey.
Right.
I would call him very inconsistent. And wow, what a fall from grace it has been for Pittsburgh Penguins goaltending, huh?
Yeah.
But is it?
Yeah.
But what do they? Who do they go to if not Jari? They don't have Smith.
Max Lagacé.
Lagacé, yeah. He had a shutout in the only
And
games
Mike
of the season,
against
I
Buffalo.
think, right? Yeah.
So
Against Buffalo.
I'm a little bit worried, right?
I mean,
a little bit.
But listen, I'm probably not as worried as I should be. But our defense needs to step up. Jari, I think overall had an okay game. He made some good stops, but like you said, he was inconsistent. He let a few pretty easy shots get past him, I'd say.
Yeah, but the thing is, they're all on his glove hand side.
I know.
That's like the same problem Matt Murray had.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's probably It's probably then, if you think about it, it's probably the goaltending coach.
That's
exactly. That's when you go back and you try to dissect what's going on, and you might fall back on the goaltending coach. We'll see. But...
Yeah, when it comes down to it, playoff hockey is all about grit and all about goaltending.
Right.
And
I did like how our forwards played too. Freddie Gaudreau was zipping around and playing really well.
Freddie Gaudreau, former
just
Admiral.
about to get to that.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that that's one key good thing about Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Is that Gaudreau and Rodriguez line.
Yeah. I'm a little worried about our defense. Obviously, Jari, whatever. But
you know what though? They could. You know what? Honestly, if Jari has another bad game, if say the Penguins are down 3-0 in the series, try to pull Matt Murray, put a guy like Alex the Oreo in the net.
Yeah, for sure.
Or something. It doesn't really hurt, does it?
Yeah, no.
You know what Jari reminds me of?
Who?
He reminds me of first second to third Leafs playoff run with Freddie Anderson, where he makes a lot of good saves, and there were a couple of saves that Jari made against the Isles where I was like, that's good. That's a good goalie. That's a starting caliber NHL goalie. But when it's time when the team needs him to make a save, whether it's to preserve a lead late in the game or to keep them in it while they're down, with the Leafs, Freddie Anderson would bail us out a lot in the playoffs, but when the team was starting to get momentum or was getting hemmed in and desperately needed him to just make that one save to get them going, Freddie Anderson could never make that save. And that's probably unfair for Freddie, considering the workload that the Leafs have put on him. But it's kind of like that same situation with Jari, where for most of the game, he looked relatively solid. And I was starting to think maybe my concerns about the Pittsburgh goalie situation was a bit overblown.
Yeah.
And then when the team needed him to make those saves, and he really should have had those two glove side goals before overtime, he just couldn't make them. And Pittsburgh is going to need him to be more than just average if they want to beat this Isles team.
For sure.
I'm just going to say something right now. If I wouldn't consider when I first saw there was one glove side goal and I looked at it, I saw it, I think it was the first Palmieri goal, and I saw Pedersen, and I went, what support are you giving him, Pedersen? You're just giving him a stick, or just letting him skate by you. Do not leave your goalie hanging like that.
Pedersen's been shaky all year, and that game was no different. So,
and as I was saying earlier, but it comes down to grit and goaltending, and as of right now, the Islanders have much better goaltending.
And I would argue more grit. I think not necessarily more grit, but more capability to be gritty.
They got guys like Matt Martin and Cal Clutterbuck. They can really rattle us down, break us down. So,
I mean, you look up and down that lineup. Even some of them more their top 6-4, the guys like
Scott
Nelson
Mayfield
and Bailey, right?
Yeah.
Scott, those guys are all big guys. Look at the Penguins, and I mean, Tanev is tough. Dumoulin is tough, kind of. And then you look at the rest of that team, and it's shaky. You got a lot of skilled guys, you got a lot of undersized guys, and that's the one thing. That's where I would want to bring the conversation is, that hit on Crosby. right? I don't know
If okay.
Yeah, that hit on Crosby. I mean,
You got to stand up.
you should be. I know it was clean and whatever, but
You
it's
had
your
to
star
stick up for him.
player. You got to step up for him. I agree 100%.
And there's a guy in, I won't say his name, but there's someone in touch that said that. I know who's laughing right now.
Yeah.
There's a guy in Tundra that said that it's a clean hit. You don't have to stick up for him. That's not how it works. You protect your star
That's
guy.
not how it works,
Yeah.
especially in playoffs.
If
You
a
have to
goon
stick up. The
or
Islanders are gonna.
If a goon or someone else
Sorry,
is
the
going
Islanders
after,
are gonna look at that.
Oh, do you want to go next? Oh, sorry.
Okay, go ahead. Go
All
ahead.
right. If a goon or anyone is going after your star player, especially one that has a history of concussions, you stick up for that guy,
Yeah.
and that's why I kind of didn't get why the Penguins, had Grease for 4 months and decided to trade him, because Grease would be that guy that would protect Crosby.
Yeah.
I know he played 5 minutes a night, but he protected Crosby.
And here's
that's what we need.
here's the thing. The Islanders are gonna look at that, how they just let that hit go, and they're gonna take advantage of that.
That's exactly what my point was.
Yeah.
They're gonna. Pittsburgh's got to step up at least in game 2. Like,
I remember
it's gonna be tough.
when the Pittsburgh previously played Islanders in the playoffs, and I remember Crosby just defending himself, and I go what the hell? I was expecting, and I remember doing that during that playoff series when Islanders swept them, and I wanted Jack Johnson to actually be that guy to protect Crosby.
Yeah, and
because he's big and he's tough, but he might be bad defensively, but
yeah,
he should have been there to protect Crosby. And
and
the fact that they got nothing, is
there's no one to protect him. Tanev's tough, but
I always go back to the series against the Rangers. I think it was 2015. They got under Crosby's skin the entire series, and no one really there were scrums, but they got under his skin. He didn't perform as well, and they lost that series in 5 games. So that could easily happen, especially after that hit. So from that point of view, it's worrying, but hopefully we'll see something.
Yeah, and unlike Ovi, Crosby needs someone to protect him because Crosby's not as big and as strong as Ovi is.
And
for sure.
Yeah.
I think in general, you never want to put your star players in a position where they have to defend themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never want your star player going off for 5 minutes for fighting.
Yeah.
Right. No. And you know what though? We talked about Dylan before. Here's the thing. Dylan is probably not going to play this series, and Malkin's still hurt.
Right.
And those are two huge key guys for Pittsburgh. If they're not back quick, my Isles of 5 prediction could look actually pretty realistic.
Someone's got to step up on that Pens defense. I mean, Chris Letang always kind of look at him. I mean, he's a great defenseman, but just makes some really weird plays. Mike Matheson's got to step up, have a better game. Yeah. CC, I didn't think I'd ever say this, but we kind of got to look at him and become a guy.
Breaking news.
What?
Breaking news. I'm looking on Daily Faceoff.
Okay.
And I'm looking at the Pittsburgh lines. I noticed Rodriguez was injured. Now look at him. Rodriguez's lower body will not play on Saturday. Rodriguez was hobbled after being hit by Mike Matheson's shot. Thanks, Matheson. On Thursday, and will not be available for Saturday's game in Washington.
Man, he was playing good too.
Oh, that's tough.
We're just going down like flies.
Wait a minute.
Oh. Wow.
Daily Faceoff is having a bug.
Oh, okay.
Rodriguez is playing Sunday.
They have a bug. Never mind. What the hell? What the hell?
So
what the?
I don't just Daily Faceoff.
Yeah. Okay.
So they were glitched for an hour before the stream, and I went, what the hell?
So we've covered 2 playoff games so far.
Rodriguez
both
is not hurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both have gone into overtime. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And
this next game also went to overtime.
Huh?
The next thing we're going to cover also went to overtime.
Yeah. But one more thing on the Islanders-Penguins game. Former Admiral and former Predator Frederick Gaudreau had a very clean goal.
It was nice.
You know what? Gaudreau just seems like a playoff performer. I never hear his name during the actual season, but during the playoffs...
Yeah. He was a big piece of that run for us.
I'm actually going to say Gaudreau uses his speed nicely, and Rodriguez uses his gray on the forecheck.
Yeah. All right, so
Speaking
now
about, just one more thing about that 2017 Preds run. What happened to that Harry Zonerchick guy? Because I remember he got that one goal against Chicago.
Harry Zolnierczyk, he went up and down, and I'm not too sure where he is now. I think he's in the Czech league or something.
Oh damn.
But let's go on to the next game. Minnesota versus Vegas, and oh my lord, what a game this was!
Marc-Andre Fleury, baby.
Marc-Andre
He's
Fleury,
unbelievable.
Cam Talbot put on a show.
I mean, tough to watch as a Pens fan, but Fleury was ridiculous.
Just rubbing salt into the wound.
Seriously, man.
Watch their starter blow.
I cannot
lead.
escape this goalie curse that's never gonna leave me.
You shouldn't have given up on Fleury.
It wasn't my decision.
Well, go back in time, become the GM, and then don't give up on Fleury.
Yeah, you think they're gonna hire? Do you think they're gonna fire JR after winning back-to-back cups?
Oh no, you're screwed, dude.
Well,
I mean, in JR's defense, Matt Murray had been playing really well for like 2 years up to that point. Like, you go with the younger guy. It seemed like the perfect time to pass the torch.
I mean, I don't know. I guess so. But Vegas is hurting without Pacioretty.
You know what though? I noticed they're giving Mark Stone crappy linemates.
Oh yeah, they are.
They got no sack. I mean,
they are because they don't want to.
Oh, there goes the mic again.
All right, there he goes. I mean,
that second line.
Okay. Oh, he's gone again. All right.
I was gonna say, like, as much as I don't want no sack on the.
That's been so good for them.
Oh my god. Ryan.
I'm gonna meet you for a sec because you're getting in and out. So hopefully you can fix your
mic.
mic.
Literally every time Dake starts to talk, Ryan just comes back and then goes right away again.
Alright, go. Or you can go. Think.
I was gonna say that second line, as much as Vegas needs I don't know, one of the second line people on the first line, I don't think they want to break that chemistry up.
I mean,
because Smith, Carlson, and Marshall have such a good chemistry that they just don't want to break that up.
I mean, at the same time, there's someone on.
Yeah, that was what I was trying to say.
There's someone in Tundra Cabin who thinks that Parise and Pacioretty are equal losses to each team. Yeah.
Bruh.
No.
No.
Who said that?
No.
Who said that? No. Who said that?
That's not even close.
But
who said that? Who said that?
Mr. Toothpaste
I need
did.
to know now. Oh, okay.
Mr. Analytics did. Okay.
Mr. AA. Okay.
Yeah. So, I don't know in what world the Wild need the Wild need Parise as much as the Knights need Pacioretty, but all right. But I would say this: Talbot. We know he has weaknesses. Vegas has to exploit them and fast, because they need to find a way to. Go ahead.
Sorry, Talbot's main weakness is I believe, is his higher glove side. I mean, his glove is actually usually fine, but just his higher glove side is a bit weak. But, I've seen Cam in 2017. The guy is such a good playoff performer. He showed it in Edmonton 2017, where, honestly, I think McDavid won MVP that year, but I can argue that Talbot was pretty close to our MVP as well that season in Calgary. But besides that one game against Dallas where he completely choked, he was solid. And now he's showing it here. I feel like Talbot gets a bit too much crap because of his final year in Edmonton, and I don't think that's fair to him. That entire team in front of him was garbage. And you know what? He's actually a really solid goaltender. So, I think this is going to be a great goalie duel throughout the series.
For sure.
I'm telling you, especially Vegas without Pacioretty. I know what Mr. AA says, but Pacioretty is irreplaceable on that first line.
Okay.
Irreplaceable.
Okay.
They don't have a single player in that.
Okay. Let's just end this without complicating it too much. Mr. AA can say all he wants. Let's just go over the cold-hearted facts
that they can bring up.
In the regular season, Max Pacioretty led the Vegas Golden Knights in goals, and he was second in points. That is it. That's all we need to say about it.
Don't remind me about how we screwed them.
So, yeah, I really have no other thoughts besides, oh my god, what a goalie battle, and I hope this goes to 7 with every single game like this.
I had a feeling before the playoffs even started. If you guys don't know, check out the playoff predictions video.
And he's gone again.
I said that.
Nope. Oh, and he's gone.
Bruh. You gotta fix your mic, Ryan.
So,
oh my god.
Does Leonard get an opportunity at all if Fleury?
Not after
it's not my mic. It's my Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's no.
No more. Okay.
No, Lehner's not getting a start. After the performance Fleury just had, even the goal wasn't even his fault. It was Alex Martinez.
Yeah, for sure. That was Martinez. Martinez was just like, hey, remember that goal I scored in OT to win the Kings the Cup? Watch me do this, but screw us out of game 1.
Okay, no, I'm not gonna. It's not really Martinez's fault. I blame the 2 people who were double teaming Marcus Foligno and didn't realize the slot was wide open for Joel Eriksson-Ek. Because you can't just double team someone.
I mean, at the same time, Martinez should have not done what he did. You know, like, yeah, I know what you're coming from. It's not all on Martinez, but oh my lord, like, that's such a costly mistake, especially in the playoffs.
I blame Pietrangelo because he just kind of tried to fling it out of the zone when. I mean, Pietrangelo before the season is like a Norris caliber guy, so it was a bit of a shocking move to see him just lazily at the end of a PK just fling it out. So there's a couple of victims on that. I just don't think you blame Fleury at all.
Yeah, no, that was not on Fleury.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
I would say this: the only way Leonard gets a start, and we both know Leonard and Fleury are amazing. The only way Leonard gets a start is if Fleury has a bad, and I mean really bad game.
Or injury.
Like 4 or 5 goals against, basically, is what I would think.
It could happen if Vegas does not shut down that Foligno, Ek, and Greenway line.
Because that's a good line.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
a really good line.
Mm-hmm. Really good line.
And you know what? Ross, I'm gonna come to your point right now about the Fleury Laner stuff. Yeah. I went back to on the 2020 playoff page, and this is what they did. First round, they went Laner, Fleury, Laner. In the second round, they went Laner 3 straight. They gave Fleury a game. They went Laner 3 straight. Then against Dallas, they went Fleury, then Laner. So it looks like by just based off last year, they favored Laner. So yeah. I don't know if they're gonna do like a 50-50 split, or if this game they're going to go like Fleury, Laner. Fleury, Laner.
Yeah, if we know what DeBoer is doing, if he does what he did last year, he's playing the hot hand, and Fleury right now is the hot hand, of course.
Yeah.
But if he sees an opportunity to put Leonard in, he will not hesitate, and we all know that. Especially since it's not like Leonard is an okay or he's a good goalie. No, he's a phenomenal goalie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the luxury that you have if you're Vegas.
Vegas.
No matter who you put in that, you know that they're going to give you a very, very good chance of winning.
Vegas literally just has 2 Vezina caliber goalies. And that's not even a joke or like a hyperbole. They just have 2 Vezina caliber goalies. They won
the Jennings trophy, so...
Yeah, they won the Jennings, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now we can talk about the final game yesterday, and probably... Best game, the most exciting game.
What a game!
There was
I feel bad for Ryan because he missed it. I'm pretty.
Yeah,
you missed it.
I missed the game.
Oh, it was so good.
I was out helping with my friends with something.
First of all, I'm gonna say, holy crap! The Florida crowd was insane. I mean,
that was unbelievable.
A million times better.
Yeah,
I made the joke.
I'm gonna say over half of them probably don't know who the GM is.
Oh, probably not.
Yeah, who cares though? They made a good atmosphere, especially with the rat throwing and everything. It was just amazing.
You know what?
That was cool.
It is weird to say that in this entire season of the NHL, the best crowd so far was the Panthers crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least so far through the playoffs. Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like I'm gonna be honest, I barely even noticed the Panthers crowd. They weren't that loud. Vegas, I mean, there's the atmosphere, but they didn't score. Caps was alright, but dude, this was insane.
something else. Literally,
it was 9,000 people. 9,000 people. It felt like a full house. I
It-
didn't know the
As a
difference.
man,
I can
Ridiculous.
compare it. I can compare it to like if Bridgestone Arena had like, if Bridgestone Arena had like 5,000 fans in it or something, or maybe a bit less. Like that's what it sounds like to me.
I'm gonna say something about Florida right now because
Alright.
as a man who's cultured in Florida sports, the minute Florida starts losing, that's when fans quit.
right.
They're only there because they win.
Well,
If they're
definitely,
winning,
but
winning, you got the Florida crowd. Half of them probably don't know the players.
so
Over half of them probably don't know the coach. Barely knows the coach.
I mean, we can talk about whether they're bandwagons or not. That doesn't matter right now. They made a good thing, and let's just talk about the game itself. I mean, did
Where
anybody
it's hard.
see
It's gotta
them?
be a top 10 game.
Did anybody see them starting Bobrovsky?
I did, and the only well, he's making
10
what,
mil.
10.5
Yeah,
million?
he started
You're paying him so much.
It
Yes,
doesn't
yes,
matter.
I totally understand, but he's making $10.5 million.
It doesn't matter. Well, I've made my opinion on that clear. If you have, like, I'm gonna say this: if you have a goalie who's making, you know what, he's making $20 million a year. If he sucks, don't play him.
Right.
Why have a liability playing on your team?
And that's the thing. Like,
at times Bobrovsky looked good. At times he looked great. But then there's times where when a guy's on a breakaway and he just screws up. He screws.
I don't know. I mean,
there's a couple times on there's a couple times on a breakaway where he's made key saves with 3 minutes left. I don't know who. I think it was Sorel. He was all alone. He makes a great pad save. Then with 1 minute left, when the game is about to go into another overtime.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Point made a great move, but you gotta try to save that one.
No,
you can't, don't open up your 500 breakaway. The minute you open up your 500 breakaway, that's what's going in. That's the number one rule on a breakaway. Do not open up your 5 hole.
And if you're gonna open up your 5 hole, at least like get your glove back there.
Exactly.
Just in case, like. Have it where a point where you can quick snap it up if they try to go glove side, but also have it where you can put it there if it goes 5 hole. He opened up the 5 hole and then just didn't do anything to try to stop it from going past it.
Power play goal too. I think it was Braden Point who scored. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah,
the guy who was in the slot. There's the power play goal. Yeah, he slid so far to the left.
Yeah.
He's way out of position. I understand it was a good passing play, but you have to kind of stay in position when you're in that area.
And then worst of all, he was screened to add onto the fact. So
we gotta figure out. I don't know. Does Florida roll with Bob or do they go to Drieger?
I go Drieger.
You go
Drieger, and they had to fix up the PK.
Yeah, the PK was terrible.
That was bad.
The Forsling has to get out because that guy.
I blame more Sam Bennett because he took 2 stupid penalties, and by the way, he's suspended.
No.
Oh, he is?
I also blame Gudez.
He got suspended for 1 game. Yeah, his hit on.
Wow.
Gudez took that charging penalty and completely switched the moment into Tampa's play.
There were so many crazy hits in that game too. Hit.
Yeah, how did the McDonough hit not get?
I don't know
because
I have no idea.
I was just gonna say this. At least reffing has been consistent so far. We haven't seen any ref puck, but oh my lord, like.
I feel bad for him.
Okay, all right. The McDonough hit wasn't that bad compared to like Gudez and like Bennett.
No, but if they gave the McDonough 1-2, then of course Bennett gets 2 minutes for that. Gudas, I'm not gonna defend at all because that was just why.
Yeah,
it should have been 5.
Yeah, it should have
been a 5.
It should have been 5. I didn't think they'd want to do that though. But I don't see why Bennett's getting suspended if McDonough's not because they were both pretty similar hits.
Yeah, especially since Duclair looks injured on the play because he was holding his lower back.
Yeah, and of course the big players so far, of course, have been Verhaeghe, Huberdeau, and Barkov.
Verhaeghe's going to step up, especially on against his former team.
And
for sure.
For Tampa, we know Point, Mr.
Coleman,
Mr. Back for 2 months, yet was still on LTIR.
Stammer. Hedman. You know what though? I will say Hedman. I don't think Hedman played that well that game. I know he got 3 points, but they're all on the power play. I do not think he played that well.
You know what? I'm gonna say this: Tampa is 17 million over the cap hit.
That's amazing.
That's just like, at least it's annoying, but it's smart. Like it's really annoying. Like at least
you know what though?
At least Chicago didn't do it to buy at the deadline. At least they didn't have Kane back for like 2-3 months.
You know what though? Theoretically, you know what a team could do at the deadline? Say if a team wants to trade for let's just say Connor Garland, they can, and you're like over the cap by $5 million. You can place him on LTIR, fake an injury, and guess what? He can be ready for the playoffs. And honestly, I won't be surprised if more teams do this because
I mean
a lot of people were complaining about Tampa doing this. A lot of people. Kucherov was skating in February.
Yeah, I agree with people who are against it, and I agree with people who are defending it because, you know what, it's smart, it's not against the rules, go nuts, but at the same time, it's really annoying.
Yeah.
It's really annoying to see people just do this, buy at the deadline, because it's literally just like, it was like the first game after they traded for David Savard, they played against the Nashville Predators. They were over the cap limit during the game. I don't understand why that wasn't against the rules or anything.
I like how Ryan's not talking because he knows his team is over the cap.
Yeah. Like I can't. Like I would love to like get on my high horse and be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe Tampa! Like this is such a terrible thing to do. They're ruining the integrity of the game." But
the same thing. But like,
I mean, we put Freddie Anderson on LTIR at the deadline so we could trade for guys like Foligno, and then we intentionally trade for Nash, knowing we could stick him on LTIR.
I mean, but here's the thing, though.
Barbie girl Ben Hutton.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though, Ryan. Anderson wasn't ready for 2 months before the playoffs. Same thing with Nash.
The Leafs is slightly more defendable. I feel like my Leafs moves are more defendable.
Yeah.
Literally,
especially since our players were actually hurt for the duration of the time they were on LTIR.
Like the NHL, I don't know what needs to be done about this, but something needs to be done about the cap circumvention thing because you could take really easy advantage of this. Like, could you imagine if Nashville just put like Duchesne, Johansson, and like 5 other guys on the LTIR just to trade for just a bunch of pieces?
You know what though? That's the thing. Like that's the thing I'm pissed off about. That if Woloski started complaining about Tampa doing this, a lot of them should have done the same thing at the deadline. It kind of made it logical.
I will say this though. I will say this, and this is really important to keep in mind. The only reason this worked so well for Tampa Bay is because last year and this year was their window. To go back to that, because they gave up those first-round picks to get Coleman and Goudreau, and those guys are on expiring deals, right? And they have a lot of young guys that they need to pay, and they have a lot of guys that are making a lot of money that don't really deserve that much money anymore. And so they've only, like Tyler Johnson, Killorn, debatable, right? They can't afford to keep this team going into next season. Someone has to go, something has to give. Yeah. And so by putting Kucherov on LTIR, they kept the team. They were able to maximize their chances for this year, knowing that next year they're going to have to disband the team anyways. And the same thing is with the Leafs, right? We bought big this year because we know with the cap situation, this is the best team the Leafs are going to have on paper for the next in a while. And with cap issues, we're going to lose some big pieces next year. Other teams aren't going to have that luxury, and they can't buy long-term deals. You know what I mean? Because they have to figure out how to fit the cap once the playoffs are over. So when you're buying, you can only buy short-term, like 1-year deal or expiring contracts. And number two, teams that are up against the cap, like they're doing it to circumvent, but it's only for the playoffs. And usually the only way you can really take advantage is if like this is your year, like you're going for it. And most of the teams aren't going to do that because they're not in that position. You take a middling team like New York, they're not going to put Panarin on LTIR to win, to try and make a move at the deadline because they need Panarin. They need Panarin to play season. They can't put him on LTIR.
I mean, I just think that the NHL needs to do something about it because it's getting pretty ridiculous.
I was going to say, to add on to the LTIR stuff and the maximizing the chances of winning. This offseason is Breeze Bar's true like challenge to prove that he's a good enough GM, that to prove that Yzerman didn't just make this team, that he didn't just carry Yzerman's fate.
Yeah.
This is his true challenge because he's dealing with contracts like Johnson and Killorn, and then they need to be moved, and he's dealing with again young guys like Matthew Joseph, Colton. There's also
here's the thing though, they don't really need to deal with it because Seattle's gonna take either Killorn or Johnson, so he's.
I wouldn't say Johnson because that's a really bad contract. I think they can take Killorn though. But no, I don't think if they have to pay Seattle to take that Johnson question.
I remember someone by the name of the toothpaste guy that said he did like a bunch of math formulas like he usually does, and he said Killorn is overrated because he is carried by point and carried by the point and Stamkos line. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. And he said that anyone who's put on with point and on that line with point is going to be a guaranteed stud. And he predicts Killorn is going to be like the next Okposo if someone like takes him during like free agency and puts him on like a long-term deal.
But at the same time, Okposo wasn't really just his playing ability. He got hurt and hurt bad.
Like honestly, like Okposo's first years at Buffalo aren't like he wasn't that bad in Buffalo. It's just that he kept getting injured and injured. Ryan, you can go.
Sorry, I was taking a drink.
Rip
I was taking a drink of water.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, I was gonna say like obviously Okposo was.
And he's gone again. Yeah, let's just. Anyways,
well, I'll talk about the disallowed goal for the Florida Panthers. I mean, that ranks probably at one of the worst calls, if not the worst call of the entire season, just because of the circumstance. The Lightning score 9 seconds later.
I mean, it wasn't a bad call, though. To be honest, it was fair. It was, he was pushing it. Bennett was pushing his. Yeah, he was pushing it.
You just push with a stick. I mean,
yeah,
I don't see the
He's still not allowed to. It's just against the rules. Yeah. It's a rule that you don't have to agree with, but
It's 30 seconds later, Coleman scores shorthanded.
Yeah, which again, that goal could.
That's where the controversy comes.
It's just kind of. And he's gone again.
Yeah, Ryan, fix your internet.
Yeah, it's the Waterloo.
Dude, just go to your local McDonald's and start recording from there. All right.
I can't. There's no sit-in. I can't. There's no sit-in.
Order a cheeseburger while you're there.
Sit outside. Do curbside pickup. Sit outside the store. And just record there.
That's what Francis Watchy did.
Today's just a really bad day. I think because the fire alarm actually went off in my apartment earlier today, like our entire unit. And I think something's just messed up right now. It's usually never this bad, for like this many times.
Okay.
But yeah,
that about does it for all the playoff games.
Well, I will say this though. Holy shit, there was a lot of penalties last night. Like there were 17 minor penalties. You can't have that many.
Yeah, I mean,
Panthers gotta stay out of the box. Period.
Yeah, I mean,
especially during the playoffs though, where they're a bit more stingy. I was just kind of shocked with the amount of calls they made.
Yeah, but it's not like that's it. To me, it wasn't a lot of like soft calls. They were all kind of like good. Like I haven't had one issue with the reffing yet.
Yes. Okay. Well, yet until tonight, where the Nashville gets screwed. Like.
Yeah. In 27.
No, shut up! No more about that. Oh, mute.
If Ryan gets to complain about the Leafs every single podcast, I'm allowed to complain about this.
Fine, complain. Say what you want.
I don't want to now.
No, just say it. Just say it.
No, I was gonna jokingly. I muted myself so I wouldn't keep going, but then you decided to say something.
Wait. We haven't talked about the best game of all the games.
No.
Calgary
No.
Vancouver.
No. No.
Yo, did you know they blew a 4-goal lead? Wow.
Oh man.
What a crazy game.
I'm sorry, but literally, I just that was painful.
I was gonna like sum up like everything like about the playoff games, like what to look forward to.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say for the Pens, I always plays the Horner because he's a big guy that
it's
can
a
look for
Horner, yeah.
Crosby. And for Panthers, Tampa, look out for Coleman for the Panthers because he's a playoff. If there's a playoff guy, it's him. Boston, Washington. Boston needs the depth to step up, and the Capitals need to pray for Kuznetsov to come back.
They're not going to.
Right there. Sadly, but they're gonna need to pray for him. And
So-
Vegas.
Go ahead.
Vegas men just keep pressuring that like second line of Erickson, Flingo, and Greenway because that's going to be like a good line to look forward to in the playoffs, and they need to like shut them down.
And
you know what? Speaking of Vegas, I just searched Max Pacioretty still day to day, but he's been like day to day for like the last 3 weeks. So I just don't know what's up with him.
We gotta wait till he's at practice. That's when we'll know when he's close.
Yeah.
Because here's another thing about the Tampa Bay Florida series. If you're Florida, you need Bennett, Hornquist, like any of your big guys who can be like pests. Get them on to Vasilevsky and get him rattled because they do not want Vasilevsky to be Vasilevsky. They want to get to him and they want to get him to get to him frequently.
I do think Florida missed a huge opportunity in Game 1. That was such a close game.
Yeah.
I think if they came out with the win in that one, because Vasilevsky wasn't Vasilevsky.
No, he wasn't. They rattled him. They got on.
He was nowhere. Yeah, he was nowhere near the Vezina goalie that he was during the regular season.
Here's the problem, though. You have Vasilevsky, who when he's on his game, he's the best in the world, and when he's not on his game, he plays like
he's terrible.
He plays like on his game Bobrovsky. Then you have Bobrovsky, who when he's on his game, he's Bobrovsky, but when he's not on his game, he's
Mike Smith.
Yeah, he is Mike Smith. And here's the thing, Bobrovsky was so bad that game. I know some people in the server might want to defend him because they don't know what they're talking about, but oh my God. You have to understand that Bobrovsky is not worth the $10 million. He should not be playing right now. And I'm sorry, Bobrovsky. I liked you in Philadelphia. I liked you in Columbus. I still like you now. You're just not that good of a goalie anymore.
You know what? I'm gonna say this right now. Why the hell? First of all, 2019 was the summer they got Bobrovsky. Bobrovsky after the playoffs has 5 years left. They drafted Spencer Knight in 2019. He's already the backup of this team. Why would they sign
he looks great.
Because that's talent. It's talent. Talent is
just trying to keep his job, and then he lost it anyway. And now they got that contract.
If it was a 3-year deal, it would have been perfect. Because next season, Spencer Knight would be the backup, and that would be Bobrovsky's last deal. Then the next season, you let Spencer Knight be the starter, and you let Bobrovsky go somewhere else. It would have been perfect.
I'm going to say something right now. Forsling does not need to be with Uyghur. Get him off.
Why is he in the top for Uyghur?
Because Ekblad's injured.
Oh, yeah, but they have other good defensemen.
Hey, Yandel.
Keith Yandel, yeah.
Or Muchivara. Give him a chance.
Joel Quenneville had Forsling in Chicago. That's why.
He probably trusts him. I think that's a big thing. He trusts him in big men.
Yeah,
but he just looked terrible, especially during that PK, especially during that goal with Kucherov. He just looked terrible.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, that was.
And if I'm Tampa, I'll not play Ruta.
You know what though? There's one guy that has impressed me though, and that's Brendan Montour.
He's great.
I guess it's just the Buffalo effect where they leave and now they're great.
Yeah.
Brandon Montour, Wisconsin native.
You know what though?
Cool.
I do not like that Niederreiter and Montour pairing though. I don't think you put Niederreiter with Montour. I think he's better for the third pair.
Oh my God, guys!
What? Oh yeah.
I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna tell it later. Just continue.
Oh okay.
If you're breaking news again, isn't breaking news? I'm actually gonna.
It's kind of breaking news.
Okay, just go. I'm done my point anyways. So.
They play Ruta on the first line.
They played Jan Ruta?
On the first line, it says Cernak.
My mistake. Montour is not the Wisconsin native. The Wisconsin native is No, it's.
You don't even know the players from your own.
It's
state?
McCabe. It's McCabe. McCabe, who's still there.
Jake McCabe.
I mixed him up.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna say something right now. If I'm Tampa, put Cernak on the first line with Hedman, put McDonough with Savard. That would be a great shutdown pairing.
You got Sergachev and
Sergachev's on the third pair, but I just want him to step up.
Here's the thing, though. You can't do that, though, because Hedman and Sergachev are so bad defensively. They need those shutdown guys next to them.
It's Cernak. Cernak is a perfect
Cernak
shutdown.
Can Cernak carry that much of a load with what?
I think he can. He's that good.
Yeah, I think Cernak is capable.
He reminds me of Adam Pellick. He really does.
Hedman, in my opinion,
I have him on fantasy. He actually stepped up in the last few games. When he was put on the first line here. They should have done that. I don't know why they put Ruta.
I don't understand, in my opinion, Hedman is not a Norris winner. Neither was Carlson, because neither of them can play defense.
Because Norris Trophy is so biased to they love offensive defensemen.
No, it's very vague.
Ignore defensive stats.
That's why there needs to be two separate awards. One for best offensive defenseman, one for the best defensive defenseman.
No, because the Norris Trophy should be about a best defender's two-way game.
Guess what? They're gonna vote on name value. Watch the top three. Even though this wouldn't be my top three, it's gonna be some garbage like Doughty, Hedman, and Duncan Keith. When it should be guys like Adam Fox or Charlie McAvoy on there.
Adam Fox is too early to tell.
The only time
the season he's had this year.
He's good this year, but I'll wait a few more years and then see if his game improves.
In the past couple of years, when it comes to Norris Trophy, the only time I thought dang, this guy is the best two-way player, right, of defensemen, was last year with Yossi, and that's not me being biased. That's just me being the main finalist couldn't play defense.
Yeah.
And
the issue is there's no way to except when you use advanced analytics, obviously. There's not
I do.
There's not a common consensus way. Even in advanced analytics, there's no consensus AA stat that people can use for how good is a defenseman at defense.
But here's the thing, though. You don't even need to go into the stats or anything. Just watch a Tampa Bay game. He's so bad defensively. He just goes up to play offense.
Toothpaste man just died. He's hearing that.
He actually has that this season. Hedman's been garbage.
Okay,
no, I'll give him credit.
Actually, I remember this tweet, and there was this advanced analytics on Tableau, I think, and it showed that out of all the Norris favorites and the Norris Trophy winners, the Norris favorites Hedman, without him, Tampa Bay played better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
actually, advanced analytics does show that Hedman's actually harming the team when he's on the ice.
Advanced analytics show what we all know just by watching any game, that Hedman cannot play defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always hear people talk about how good he is as a defender. It's he's not.
It's a very. I would just say this. I like analytics. It's a very useful tool.
Oh no, I love analytics.
I'm not.
I don't want to make it sound like I hate AA. I just disagree with people who use.
I don't use it all the time. For most of my judgment
of player assessment.
For most of my judging players, I go by the eye test. But you know what? Sometimes I will resort to analytics to get a better judgment of the players.
It also depends on the sport.
Right, absolutely.
It also depends on the sport that you're talking about. In baseball,
baseball
is a huge analytics sport, and that's why I love baseball so much, among the many other things. But this isn't a baseball podcast. But for hockey,
how did we get so off topic?
Hockey is not as much as that.
He has something to say.
I'm gonna say something. I think two things right now. One, advanced analytics. The problem is it doesn't take in character and moral support, because if you take a guy I don't know, maybe Jumbo Joe, he might not be the best analytics guy, but he might do well, like help boost up the morale and character of the team. Or a guy like Jason Spezza. He's not good where he used to be, but he might help. Like his experience might help the youth and the morale and provide leadership to like a team that's very young and very like I don't know unbalanced or like not doesn't have like as much experience in the game.
Yeah,
like they have that calming presence on the bench in the locker room.
For sure.
Even outside the arena. There's like A is a very useful tool. Like I don't want it to sound like I'm hating on advanced analytics because in a lot of ways, like in using it's like a relative stat in a sense, right?
Yeah.
And it's useful for seeing how a player it's a good like summarizer in a lot of aspects. I just think that hockey is such a fluid game that if you're relying purely on numbers and these arbitrary values that some of these formulas use and assign.
And he's out again.
He's gone again.
But but in short,
we've kind of recapped all the games.
Permanent player's worth.
Oh my god.
Without really taking into account its surrounding past.
No more. No more.
I hate it so much.
Just stop.
I hate it so much.
Just stop.
Boys, I'm sorry. Boys,
no
I'm
more.
Sorry.
No more.
Okay.
Oh my god, that was funny.
Let me
I was
just.
going to say the second thing. I'm going to make it quick.
Okay.
If the NHL doesn't put McCaffrey and Devin Teams as Norris candidates, they're screwed. I will forever hate the NHL Norris Trophy. Just hate them. That's it.
We've kind of recapped all the games.
We're basically done for today.
Today. But before that, let's look at the projected lineups for today's game between Nashville and Carolina. It looks like
actually we can do the same thing for the Caps because that's starting in 15 minutes.
Oh, I was just gonna do it because I have it pulled up right now.
Yeah, I have pulled up too for Washington. You can go first though. You go first.
No, you go first since that game's starting first.
All right. So obviously, of course, game numero deux, between the Caps and the Bruins, and right now this is the Bruins in warm-ups. They got the perfection line back, Hall, Krejci, Smith. Third line looks the same, Ritchie, Coyle, DeBrusque. Fourth line is Crowley, Lazar, Wagner. That's a very good, hard-hitting, speedy fourth line, by the way.
I was gonna just say something.
Yeah.
Like a couple minutes or a half an hour to an hour before it had DeBrusque on the fourth line. They just changed that.
I guess so.
Yeah, they're changing it. Like I've looked at this lines for the Predators, and it's changed a few times already.
And Corrali wasn't at left wing; he was at center.
Yeah, so the Bruins are making changes on defense. There is one surprise. It's Grzelcyk McAvoy, of course, Mike Riley, Brendan Carlo, but Connor Clifton and Kevon Miller. So
interesting.
Lazon is scratched.
Montreal legend Mike Riley.
And it's Tuukka versus Craig Anderson.
So far.
So you know what Dank is right though, because the same guy who posted the line said that Coyle's back to center, DeBrusque from fourth to third line, and Crowley from 3C to 4 left wing. So there are some changes.
Yeah. I don't remember all the changes from.
Oh, sorry. I need to do the Caps too. Shit.
Oh yeah.
Hey, no cursing. No cursing.
Okay. Yes, you're right.
I'll
be quick though. It's Ovi, Backstrom, Manfa. Second line, Sheary, Eller, Raffle. Third line is Sprong, Oshie, Wilson. Fourth line, Hagman, Dowd, Hathaway. Defense looks the same. Orlov, Carlson, Dylan Schultz, Chara, Jensen, and once again, Craig Anderson in net.
That's interesting.
Raffle
on the second line. What the?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the second line.
I mean,
Eller,
he did okay
Eller
last game, so why not?
I want him to step up. I think they want Eller to step up, but Raffle?
Yeah, so that's an odd one. I'm sorry.
I feel like the third and second line should be flipped, no?
Maybe. I mean, just because the line setup is like that doesn't mean that's who's gonna get the most ice time.
Yeah.
So we could see the third line get some good ice time. For the Nashville Predators, their starting lineups, as of right now, look like this: Forsberg, Johansson, Arvidsson, Yarncroke, Gronlund, Kunnin. And then for the third line, it's not set in stone yet. It'll be either Jeannot or Richardson, Howla, and then Duchesne on right wing. And then on fourth line, it's going to be the classic Herd or the Herd line or whatever you feel like calling it. There's a few names in Nashville: Trennan, Sissons, Olivier. Then on defense, you have Roman Josi, Ryan Ellis, Matthias Ekholm, Alexander Carrier, and then Ben Harper, Matt Benning. And then goalies, of course, Saros. And, Rene will be back up.
I'm going to say something right now. This season has screwed Nashville. Because now they're going to think that hopefully they don't do what Montreal did with this season after they made it to the play-ins and think that they're a playoff team. They're not a playoff team, Nashville.
Right.
I'm just going to say that straight up. Just straight up.
Does Rocky have a response? Does our
looking at this defensive pairings and Carrier and
I mean, from what you're saying, I don't think you've watched one single game Carrier has played, to be honest.
I didn't, but it's just I'm just looking at name value here. It's
name value means nothing in the sport. We already know that.
I'm just gonna say something. They got good youth.
They do.
They got good youth that just coming up, but this deep here,
which deep here?
Oh,
he likes Ben Harper and
Matthew Benning. Jeez.
Oh, Ben Harper, Leaf legend.
Okay, you know what? No, here's in the case of Benning, because obviously I've watched him a lot here. He's been really screwed by injuries. He's had 3 concussions in his career, and when he's actually healthy, he's really solid defensively.
If you look at it, I know if you look at advanced analytics, Roman Josi and Matt Benning were one of the best defensive pairings in the league, and there's a reason Matt Benning played the most games out of any defender in the league this year.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised. No, I'm not surprised. Goodbranson scratched.
Here's the thing, though. If you look at this,
I'm not.
Here's the thing, though. If you noticed, one key piece of that defensive core is missing, and that's Fabro, who's hurt right now.
Yes.
That's a great loss.
That's.
So, which he'll be back soon, and we know he's going to be back very soon. But here's the thing, though. You look at it. That's Josi, Ellis, Ekholm, Fabro, and then Carrier, Harper, or Benning.
That's not bad. I mean, I've always liked Nashville's defense. I did have Nashville making the playoffs at the start of the year.
Yeah.
I'm just because of John Hines.
But I think we went on for long enough. That was almost an hour, so I think we're good for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're okay.
Quickly, Carolina, Niederreiter, Aho, Teravainen, Fogle, Trocheck, Nekas, Getchikov on the third line, which is with Stahl, Fast.
That's a good third line.
Martin,
that is a good third line. That's really good.
Getchikov on the third line? Wow.
I just do not like that fourth line, though. It's like Max
Martin, Lawrence, and McGinn.
Yeah, not a good fourth line.
Not a good fourth line, though.
McGinn died.
Slavin, Hamilton, Sketche, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Pesce.
And probably the best third line pairing I ever seen, Bean and Hakanpaa.
Yanni Hakanpaa.
Wow, so Carter's not playing.
With Mrazek starting? And
the real question is, why is Leafs legend Jake Gardner not playing?
Jake Gardner is trash defensively.
Here's the thing. If we look at the last games between Nashville and Carolina, Nashville won both of them, and they were all starting their main lines. So,
I mean, you can have a point that Carolina had no reason to try in those games.
But they did. because the Final Four seeding goes on, they would get home ice advantage with Final Four if they won
but
both
you
those
can
games.
make the argument that UC Saros was one of the best goalies since March, and that Pecorine just went off because that's probably his final NHL game in his career.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna say something out here.
How many times are you gonna say that?
I don't. It's a habit of mine.
It's all right.
Okay.
All right. I want someone to figure out what happened more this time. Ryan's mic dying and him just disappearing for a couple of seconds, or Dank saying, "I'm just gonna say something."
Probably about the same amount, to be honest.
Okay. I'm probably gonna have Nashville take one game out of the Carolina series, and I have Carolina in 5.
I actually had in my bracket, I had Carolina in 6, and the big reason was I didn't really know if Carolina was going to start Nedeljkovic or Mrazek, because that goaltending is a little bit squishy, but I don't know. I think Nedeljkovic's going to pull him through. I think he's a good goaltender.
I think Nashville could steal like 1 or 2.
Yeah, I think they can too.
I think specifically Saros can steal 1 or 2.
Saros is good. Yeah.
I have Carolina in 6 too.
But yeah, I think it's good. I think it's the perfect place to end it off. So
yeah,
sounds good to me.
So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks to Dank for coming on. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.